Sex before marriage, is it wrong? I just want to say that this is, I see a somewhat popular question here on YouTube. There are many videos, people sharing both sides of the argument. Great discussion here. In this question here that Onision asked, we're having great conversation and discussion in the comments. Many people are posting comments. I myself have participated in great discussion with many people lower down, and we're having a great time. Now, in addition to some of my written my conversation I've been having down there with some of the other participants, I'm sharing both sides. I wanted to do a quick video response to your question, because I think Onision, I want to say I love your humility. I love your openness. I love your sincerity in asking, I love your sincerity in discussing and asking in this particular video. And I want to answer your question with a video response and quickly. But I would answer I would answer a little differently than how you might expect. And I would ask you two key questions to begin with. And the first question I would ask you, and this is for everybody obviously, but I would ask, what is sex, first of all? And number two, what is man? Now, I would suggest to you, and just so you know, I am a Christian. I do have strong convictions here, but I'm going to leave those aside just for a minute. But actually, I'm going to leave them aside for this answer. But I want us to think about. I want you to think about what are these things? First of all, what are we? Now, notice that what are we, and what is sex? Now, what is man? What is mankind? What is man? Now, is man simply a physical mass of being? Is man just a physical clump of fill in the blanks? Is man glorified slime? Did he? What is man? Now, I would say that question is actually more important to the answer to this question than you may immediately think about or immediately realize. Because then the next question is, yeah, what is sex? Now, is sex simply two physical masses of beings, whatever it is, just coming together? Is it simply a physical coming together? Or is it much more than that? Is there something deeper than that? Now, I would suggest you, and I'm going to say some of this without apology, okay, this is what I believe, and we're not going to discuss this why I believe it, but I believe that first and foremost, man is actually, number one, a spirit being first and foremost. He's a spirit being who has what we call a soul, okay, a mind, a will, and emotions, and who lives in a physical body. Now notice the order. A spirit being, soul, who lives in a body. Now, what I would say about sex is that sex is first and foremost a spiritual thing that connects one person to another, first and foremost, spirit to spirit, soul, and of course then physically. Okay? Now notice the order again. Spirit, soul, and body, in that order. Now, this is significant. This is very significant, because see, the thing is, the more I understand who I am, what I am, okay, naturally I'm going to have a higher regard for this thing called sexuality. Now, you and I, and the majority of the people that are commenting lower down, would strongly say that it is very morally and ethically wrong for a man or woman to engage in what we call casual sex. So in other words, you know, let's just get out there and let's just have as much of it as we can with Mary and Janie and Lucy and Rebecca and so on and so forth. most of us would agree that's morally wrong, that's ethically wrong, and what we would suggest to you, that is also, not only is it morally and ethically wrong, it's also self-destructive. It is extremely destructive, and we don't have the time to get into that. But back to this whole thing now. Sex before marriage, is it wrong? Now, in addition now, I would say, I would answer that, okay, now the reason why some people, and these people do represent the minority, and certainly in our conversation here, one of the reasons why they're going around like that is because they don't know who they are. They don't know what they are. They don't see themselves as spirit beings. They just see themselves as physical. And unfortunately, how they look at the other person, they don't see them as actual people. They probably see parts. So it's like they don't see people anymore. They just see people to manipulate, people to take advantage of. So they see body parts as opposed to people. But that's another discussion. Now, I want to ask another third question. And this is a very important question. I noticed in your video you asked the question, or you made the statement, be in love. You know, you're saying it doesn't matter if you wait, just be in love. But I would ask another question then, what is love? Now you see, I would define love, and I'm going to have to run here because of time. I would define love as a commitment to seeking the other person's most highest good. Being committed to seeking the other person's most highest good. Now, I'm going to answer this from the male perspective for a while here. One of the most loving things that we can do as men is to tell the people we're involved with, you know what, I am committed to you. I'm making a choice. I'm committed to you. And you know what, I'm not going to touch you. I'm not going to pressure you. I'm not going to get you to do something that's not good for you, right? Never mind, it's not good for me, but I'm not going to try to get you to do something that's not good for you, because I'm going to love you. I'm going to get to know you, and I'm going to let you know me. So I am going to be true, I'm going to be honest, I'm going to have integrity, I'm going to open myself up so that what you see is what you get. I'm not going to have a secret agenda. I'm not going to be telling you all the things you want to hear, but really I'm really after one thing. You see, love is putting the other person above yourself. And one of the most loving things a man especially could do is to communicate, you know what, until I put a ring on your finger, and until you know without a shadow of a doubt that I'm committed to you, I'm not going to touch you. Now, you said something very interesting at the end of your video that's actually opposite. You said this, you said, why wouldn't you want to have sex so you can get to know them? Because you can know a lot of things about a person. But it's interesting is that actually having sex too early, or having sex before there's established commitment, actually it does the opposite. And what I mean by that is, you actually don't get to know who the person is, because we're actually blinded by selfishness and lust, right? Which blinds us to seeing the person for who they truly are. We actually will begin to lose our ability to actually see the person correctly if there's too much feelings, emotions, and passions, and this feels so good. What happens is we develop a type of blindness to who this person really is. So there could be obvious things that are wrong with this person that are so obvious, but because we've experienced a connection with the person, what happens here is that it's like we experience a blindness to those things that are obvious, that are right before us. And then what happens is later on down the road, when now it's been a few years and we're seeing all these things, we're experiencing all these problems now in this relationship, we say, how could I be so blinded? Now you see, the thing is, it's not that these things all of a sudden came up later on down the road. No, it's just that